Republican Donald Trump. Details of these and more coming your way soon. Stay with us. Many thanks for joining us at this time. Now, details of the news. As Nigeria awaits full power restoration, the national grid has collapsed once again. The national grid collapsed on Tuesday, marking the 10th such incident since January 2024. Our correspondent confirmed that as of 11 a.m. on Thursday, the 22 power plants were only able to generate 2,323 megawatts of electricity, with generation dropping to 0.0 megawatt. The peak generation for the day was 3,743 megawatts as of 10 a.m. The Ikeja Electricity Distribution Company reported a power outage at 11:29 a.m. The Transmission Company of Nigeria was yet to provide an update on the incident. The House of Representatives Committee on Renewable Energy has lamented the incessant power grid collapse in the country. The chairman of the committee, Honorable Victor Ogene, will express worry that when calls are made to the head of MDAs for appearance, it is very imperative that these heads of department appear before the committee so that some of these challenges currently faced by the country are addressed. Honorable Ogene noted that due to the death of the Chief of Army Staff, the nation is in a mourning mood, hence the need to hold an abridged hearing. One of the stakeholders, who is the National President Association for Public Policy Analysis, Prince Relo Korea, called the attention of the committee to ensure an investigation is carried out to ascertain how monies are being utilized in renewable energy. Earlier in his remarks, the committee chairman, Honorable Ogene, said that the investigative hearing is aimed at ascertaining the amount of funds invested into the renewable energy sector.
Everything that we do as a people, as a country, as humans revolve around the whole issue of power. Only yesterday we suffered another grid collapse. And I am sure that the ordinary man, the ordinary woman on the streets will be wondering how come we are having this frequent grid collapse. We seated in this hall might be aware of the technical issues involved.
We need to ask, is there a safety component? Is there a standardization in terms of the safety, the renewable energy products that come in here? For instance, there was a time members of the House of Reps used to make street lights, solar street light, part of constituency project. How many of them are working today? I will request that this committee carry out audits of functionality of the solar street lights that have been installed in Nigeria within the context of promoting renewable energy.
Now joining us to talk on this issue of consistent grid collapse, we have Peter Adner, a public affairs analyst. Good evening and thank you so much for joining us on Galaxy TV News.
Good evening, thank you for having me.
All right, so getting right to the questions. The national grid once again has collapsed and this has been happening so many times. What's your thoughts on this?
My own thought is that since the privatization and the with government owning just very small amount of investment in the distribution company, since the privatization of this distribution company since 2011, I have not seen the owners or those investors, as people who are competent enough to inject more resources in the development of substations that would have helped in the strengthening of the capacity of this substation to absorb whatever injection of power that will come from the national grid. It is this lack of capacity of these substations that are actually leading to the collapse of the national grid when more power and energy is injected into it. And you find out that I think that what had happened in the bank, where banks were consolidated, you must look at how to further strengthening the consolidation of the DISCO, the distribution distribution companies, because government cannot continue to invest money in buying meter, money that would have been used to do other things like develop education and other sector of the economy. Government cannot continue to invest like $800 million that was received to be able to invest in the substation upgrade. Is not something that government should be so much involved in. If we are privatizing, we should go full mood and then extend it. I must also give some credit to Buhari for the 2023 Electricity Tariff Act that will now help states to also generate power. What Enugu State have done is to also launch theirs. So state must also wake up and do what has happened in Abia with their geometrics, when they now build their own independent power plant. So we can be able to expand the number of people who can be able to, generate power and then consume it locally without even channeling it to where it will collapse the substation and collapse the national grid. The idea of national grid in every part of the world is no longer tenable. It is you generate power within those subcommittees or sub-national units where you can be able to manage it and grow the economy and grow the medium, because without power, the small and medium scale enterprises in this country are all dying. Without power, the society will not be able to live to the full potential of its technological advancement. So it is necessary that government must take cognizance into these facts and take proactive measures. Proactive measures with the discourse. What is the amount of money the discos are generating? What is the tax they are paying to federal government? Why is disco owners getting richer and they are not adding value to the infrastructure that government handed over to them as of the time they collected the infrastructure? They must be able to add value. They can't just be like people who feed on an existing structure without expanding it. The major problem is that those who bought this disco, those who disco was concession to by federal government, did not have the technical know-how, did not have the kind of capacity needed to expand the electricity sector in order to benefit all Nigerians. And as we are saying, if we must continue to do things with the mind of the masses at heart, we must do things transparently. We must look at the capacity of the company to be able to improve on whatever that was handed over to them. We must look at the capacity of the company to develop this infrastructure needed to absorb whatever injection of power that will come from the national grid.
Okay, all right. So the Minister of Power said that recently the equipment used for the grid are obsolete, and this may have informed the frequent collapse of the grid. Do you think that explanation is valid enough for Nigerians?
It is embarrassing that there are no punitive measures by the minister, to be able to deal with the issues that are on ground. If we did privatization of the electricity sector by 2011, and by now the people who are owners of these distribution companies or the investors who are within the electricity distribution generation unit are not putting proper infrastructure in place, are not putting proper investment into the development of this infrastructure to help Nigeria to grow, to help Nigeria economics to flourish, to help Nigeria towards building a very and developmental objectives that will cater for the welfare of our people, then there should be a proper open inquiry, either by the National Assembly, where we will look at how obsolete this equipment have become since 2011. You can count the years. This is 2024. In within a period of these 13 years, what are the investments that these companies have put to expand and strengthen the infrastructure that we handed over to them in the power sector? So these are proper investigation. What is the amount of money this company have generated? What is the amount of the taxes they are paid to federal government? So we cannot conclude this feeding bottle. While the private investors are cashing out, government is borrowing $800 million. Government is carrying money from coffers that would have used to, expand the economic welfare of the people, and then putting it into this same investment. Government has said several times, people should not buy meter. Well, people are still buying meter. Government has said that this equipment are obsolete. What are the decisions? We should stop being reactive to issues. If the minister already know this, we must be proactive, because this frequent collapse of the national grid is causing us international embarrassment. It's causing us both local and international embarrassment, and is driving down the investors' confidence in our economy. If you look at statistics of companies that have moved out of Nigeria, majority have moved out because of security and power. So we must, as a serious people, sit down and have a national policy or a well-crafted decision that will help to solve the obsolete natures of these substations, or we will channel resources, or we bring a consolidated effort and do what was happening in the bank and reconsolidate the discourse so that we will have more money injected into it, well, then we have more opportunity to be able to refurbish or buy new substation up to the standard that can up to whatever 20,000, 30,000 megawatts that will be generated by the national grid.
All right, we thank you so much for sharing your thoughts with us on Galaxy TV News. We truly appreciate your presence.
Thank you very much.
All right, and that's Peter, a public affairs analyst. Now moving on to other topics. Nigeria's Minister of State for Works, Bello Mohammed Goronyo, has urged the management of the Federal Road Maintenance Agency, FEMA, to keep engaging and updating the National Assembly and other stakeholders regularly in order to bridge communication gaps. The minister gave the charge while meeting with management of FEMA and members of its board led by the Managing Director, CEO, Engineer Chukwuemeka Agbasi in Abuja. A statement by Mohammed Ahmed, Director of Press and Public Relations, Ministry of Works, reviewed. According to the statement issued and signed by the Director of Press and Public Relations of the Ministry, Mohammed Ahmed said the meeting, which was the continuation of a prior one held in Kano on Monday, was aimed at articulating a work plan with a clear roadmap for FEMA activities nationwide. It was also to address the fallout of the invitation by the National Assembly, where the need to upscale communication between the two was emphasized. Others equally highlighted included the need to always bring board members up to speed with activities of the agencies, grey areas observed in the non-implementation of 2024 budget, as well as drawing a template for all ongoing FEMA projects with a view to embarking on a visit to all the geopolitical zones to access projects being undertaken by the agency. Governor Basani of Kaduna State has promised to rehabilitate and empower the released and bad governance protesters from Kaduna State if they turn a new leaf and become responsible and law-abiding members of the society. Speaking to journalists when the protesters were released to reunite with their families, the Secretary to Kaduna State Government, Dr. Abdulkadir Muazu Mireye, said that the governor has asked them to receive the credentials of those who have completed their tertiary education. The Secretary to the State Government, however, said that the government will be tracking the activities and conduct of all 39 of them to ensure that they are of good behavior before these benefits will be extended to them. Dr. Miyeri disclosed the Kaduna State Government has taken the details of the released detainees, which included contact addresses, telephone numbers, and names of their next of kin for easy tracking and monitoring. According to him, the detainees were given a telephone aid because they lost their own during detention, and the governor has graciously given each of them 100,000 naira as a measure of goodwill. You're still on to the news on Galaxy TV. Let's go on a break. When we come back, the news continues. To stay with us. We are glad to have you back. Now for more updates and latest news, please visit our website www.galaxytvonline.com. Connect with us on our X handle at Galaxy TV. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Galaxy TV News. You can follow and interact with us on our Facebook page, facebook.com/Galaxy TV. Remember to follow and tag us on our Instagram page as Galaxy TV. Our social media platforms are user-friendly and can always accommodate your live updates and comments, as you can easily scan our IGQR code. Former President of Nigeria, Olusegun Obasanjo, has called on governors across the country to embrace the National Health Insurance Scheme as replicated by Edo State government. Former President Olusegun Obasanjo made this disclosure when he led other dignitaries, including the wife of former President Goodluck Jonathan, to the commissioning of a referral hospital named after his late wife Stella Obasanjo in Benin City, the Edo State capital. Correspondent Dele Fason has more in this report.
General Obasanjo, alongside wife of former President Dame Patience Jonathan, after cutting the tape to commission the Stella Obasanjo Referral Hospital, inspected the state-of-the-art facilities as he enjoined states to emulate the gesture.
This is tied up with health insurance scheme in the state. Then you have it all. And there's my hope is that we will have more of this in the state, and other states will have the understanding to have something similar.
These projects, no doubt, are great welfare innovations that have added to your development scorecards, and they will forever remain wonderful testaments of the good service you rendered to the people of Edo State and how you will be remembered.
On his part, the host and governor of Edo State, Godwin Obaseki, stressed on the importance of the hospital in the Nigerian healthcare system.
Everything we've done is integrated. So it's not just having a hospital that you don't know how the cases will come or how the cases will be treated. You can't walk into Stella Obasanjo Hospital if you have not been referred from another facility. Which means that you are not likely to be treated here if you don't have health insurance.
The former president later joined others in celebration of the hospital completion, which according to him will serve as a solution to major health challenges to states in the South-South, Southwest and the Southeast region. From Edo State, Dele Fason reporting for Galaxy TV News.
Ahead of the November 16th governorship election, the Independent National Electoral Commission confirmed on Thursday that sensitive election materials will arrive in Akure by Tuesday, November 12th. Addressing stakeholders at a pre-election meeting held in Akure, INEC Chairman Professor Mahmood Yakubu announced that all sensitive materials, including ballot and result sheet, will be delivered to the Central Bank of Nigeria's Akure branch by early next week. According to Yakubu, the election materials will be inspected by political party representatives and other stakeholders to ensure transparency before being distributed to local governments and wards across the state. Yakubu stressed that INEC is committed to a well-organized and credible election process, noting that all logistical arrangements for the safe delivery and distribution of materials have been completed. To support the timely deployment of these materials, Yakubu highlighted that INEC has arranged for both land and maritime transportation to reach all areas of Edo State, ensuring access to polling units across the region. Lagos State government has commenced investigation into the scenario where a commercial bus driver set ablaze an officer of LASMA while on official duty. Speaking with Galaxy News correspondent Labi Joseph, the general manager of Lagos State Traffic Management Authority, LASMA Bakari Uki, described the incident as barbaric. It will be recalled that a commercial bus driver poured petrol on an officer of last mile while on duty on Tuesday and ignited it, thereby inflicting burnt injury on the dutiful officer.
An unfortunate incident. Despite the efforts the agency and our men put in place to make sure that Lagosians, especially the motoring public, have a seamless movement on the road. This type of reaction is barbaric.
Bakaruki declared the last mile officials have gone through rigorous retraining and their approach in the discharge of their duties has improved tremendously. He implored all road users to cooperate with them by strictly adhering to traffic rules and regulations of Lagos State.
The attitude of road users has not really changed. That was part of what was witnessed on Tuesday, where one of my men, one of my personnel that was on official duty was set ablaze.
Now we move to the international desk for more news.
Hello and welcome to the Foreign News. U.S. President Joe Biden is set to address the nation on Thursday after a stinging election defeat for his Democratic Party at the hands of Republican Donald Trump. Trump staged a stunning political comeback which has reverberated worldwide. Biden, who was replaced in July as a Democrat candidate in the race by Vice President Kamala Harris, because of concerns about his mental equity after a stumbling debate with Trump, will speak at 11 a.m., the White House said. Harris sought on Wednesday to console the voters who had hoped she would become the first woman to win the White House. Like Biden, she promised to aid Trump's transition between now and his inauguration on January 20th, but said she was not prepared to embrace his vision for the country. Trump's campaign said Biden had invited him to a meeting at the White House at an unspecified time. The former president's victory surprisingly decisive after opinion polls that had shown a neck-and-neck contest ahead of Tuesday's election underscored how disenchanted Americans had become with the economy, in particular the effect of inflation on their standard of living, border security, and the direction of the country and its culture. Harris' campaign has sought to press the message that Trump was unfit to serve again as president, as a convicted felon and one whose false claims of voting fraud after his 2020 election defeat spurred a mob to storm the U.S. Capitol.
And that's it for now, but do join us at 9 p.m. for our primetime news. My name is Eriba Misala.